Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Heavenly Father's only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone, for teaching us His truth according to the Bible and rule well. None shall want our sincere argument throughout the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth through diligence and sincerity and in charity. And in Shalom, to all you sincere followers, believers of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, not just hearers of the word, but doers as well, you men, women, and children, and hopefully elect. Shalom. Came across this video, and before we play it, fair use. This video is just it's not being made monetized or anything like that. It's just for criticism, commenting, teaching, scholarship, research, and Lord willing, to edify. Okay. This guy here, we're gonna play some of it, and I'm gonna stop it periodically and bring out scriptures. He's trusting in Egypt, and what our people are coming to realize is, trusting in Esau Edom society, or his way has led him down to a pathway of destruction, confusion, and pretty much at a point no return. And I want to bring out a precept before we play it, and then we're going to grab precepts as we go. This is Hebrews chapter 13, verse 14. It says, "For here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come." And for the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and you Israelite foreigners have to understand where we are at in our captivities, mainly here in America. All right. We don't have a city here. All right. We are in captivity. Read Baruch, the 3rd chapter. It tells you we are yet this day in our captivity. We die scatter us for a reproach and a curse. So, we're not meant to get over the hump. We're not meant to make it. And if you do make it, all right, you have to do wicked things. And this guy's going into how he did everything right, everything by the book. But like Micah 2:10 says, this is not our rest. So we're going to play it.
Literally all this, and I had uprooted my family for this. For what? For what? Just like, it's not really just about like politics, because this is people. It's people. This is probably the most personal video I've ever made. So I lost my company and I lost my job as a government contractor due to the government shutdown. I relocated my entire family from Florida to Northern Virginia, where all the government jobs are at, based on promises that turned out to be lies. And what I mean by losing my company is because with my company, it was focused on veterans. It's HeroHireSolutions.com. And that's where I build resumes for veterans. I teach them how to job search. I show them how to do interviews, things that we aren't taught during our transition period to exit the military. And that's why there's a load of veterans who are either homeless, just struggling, can't afford to live, basically, eat. It's also a lot of veterans who are jobless because of the transition. So
Esau Edom is to blame for that, man. All right. Let me see here. If I can find it, I'll bring it out. Man, where is it at? I think it's in the Apocrypha. can't find it.
People who aren't veterans,
Lord's will, I find it.
they
Hold on.
typically don't understand how the transition works. But it's not easy, especially when you're out. It takes a while, and sometimes you probably don't ever truly adjust. You know, slight changes. You know, with you'll feel like you have adjusted, but to really fully adjust is probably not possible realistically. So, before anybody asks, I want to say first that I have skills. While serving, I was HR and an Army recruiter also. And those two things are should be transferable over to the civilian sector. It's not like, I chose a job where I'm just infantry, basically. And that's, no shot at infantry or anything like that, because, everybody's infantry at the end of the day. But I'm saying, chose something that's transferable easily into the civilian sector. Just like if you would have chose, if you chose, or I would have chose something like legal, or something like that. But the reason we moved into this space, decided to go into the government space, basically because it's like moving to Northern Virginia, it's like that's where majority of the government jobs are at. And while I was in Florida, it was a struggle. I've had a job like...
All right, Slocky, I found it. This is Ecclesiastes 26 and 28. It says, there be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffer poverty. Right? It says, and men of understanding that are not set by, and the one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepares such as one for the sword. Woo. Yeah, so the Lord said a man of war that suffer poverty. All right, men of war are supposed to be taken care of, right? Because they're fighting for your nation. They're fighting for your cause. All right, they're your people. But Esau don't give a damn. All right, letting you know that this man is not for our people, because a lot of our people fight in this man's war. Okay? Right, and the Lord hates one that goes from righteousness to a sinner again, man. Let's keep going.
Like here and there, but then after some time, it was like, I couldn't get nothing. It was, time kept passing by. Next thing you know, it's a year, and I'm like, it's not working here, because I feel like I've done everything right. I purchased a home. That's what people say do, buy a house. They say go to school. I got my master's while I was in the Army.
See, he tried to fulfill the American dream. All right? He tried to fulfill the American dream, but see, that's the importance of the scriptures. All right, let's get I'm gonna get a precept, and I want to get a quote as well. Let's get Micah real fast, 2 and 10. It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction. All right, and you can be picture perfect in this man's society, but you're still subject to the curses. So where you may try to overcome, you're not going to overcome, because the Lord has it written, this place is not our rest. If we was to get comfortable here, we wouldn't need the Lord. If the curses wasn't subject to us, would we need the Lord? Right? And the importance of the scriptures, man, the wisdom, knowledge, understanding of scripture, the importance of it. One of your presidents said, I'm gonna get it. He said, thorough knowledge of the Bible. What's his name? Yeah. So this is Theodore Roosevelt said he had a quote. Okay, Theodore Roosevelt. He says, "A knowledge of the Bible is worth more than a college education." All right, you can Google that yourself, man. Okay, Theodore Roosevelt. Okay, he was the 26th president. That devil. All right, and what he said was true. Because if they didn't have a somewhat of an understanding of the scriptures, right? Well, now they still would be wicked because they was created to be the wicked. But even they understand there's power within in the scriptures, man. You know who your enemies are. You understand the reasons why you're here. And jakes like this are being blindsided because they have trusted in Egypt. They have trusted in Samaria. They've trusted in America, man. Let's get a precept. These are all basic scriptures. This is Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord. The Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, did take counsel, but not of me." See, who taught him that way? Who taught him you gotta go to college, you gotta buy a home, you gotta go into the military, who taught him this? The enemy. Right? Because look, the Wadiyah Bashim was shy for his men, the apostles, the elders, the bishop, grace, millstone on down. Right? We're not telling our sons and daughters to go into this man's military. All right, we're not promoting college. There's nothing wrong with going to college to get a trade, right? But promoting that, going to college and racking up debt, it's all a big scam. No. Ain't nothing wrong with a little trade school, a little 2-year school, When you, get your, degree on HVAC or something like that. Okay? But that college shit's for the birds. Anyways, it says, "But not of me, and take a covering with a covering, take a cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin." See, the covering Jake is coming with the covering of Esau, the spirit of Egypt. It says verse 2, "That walk to go down to Egypt and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh." So he trusted in the government, right? With these government contracts, and he was lied to. And he moved his whole family from Florida to Northern Virginia. Okay? They had contracts, and he's going to go into it. Contracts for like 10 years and extended contract for like 5 years, something like that. It's like a 15-year contract. It was all BS. But he trusted in that. It says, Isaiah 30:2, it says, "To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion." All right? And modern day Egypt is America, of course. Modern day Pharaoh, right? The president, the elites. All right? Trusting in this man's system is going to be to your shame. And you're seeing it right here.
And no student loan debt because I use my tuition assistance and FAFSA. And when I exited the Army, I still continued education. I'm pursuing my doctoral degree while using the GI Bill. So while you're in, guys, please don't use your GI Bill. Wait till you get out, because that way you can get that housing allowance when you get out. I have no criminal record. I have, like I said, the work experience. It's like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do only to get burned. It's like,
See? He said he feel like he's doing everything he's supposed to do and he's getting burnt. Well, you're not serving the Lord. All right? The scripture tells in Matthew 6:33 says, but seek ye first the kingdom of Yahweh and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Right? It says, take therefore no thought for tomorrow, for tomorrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. So, at the end of the day, we're supposed to be seeking the Lord's righteousness, seeking things his way, not our ways. That's the problem. We were taught ever since we was little, about what we want to do in life. When in actuality, we need to be seeking the Lord and his righteousness, and everything we need will be added unto us. Understanding his will is to destroy this place. Jake don't understand what the will of the Lord is. That's why you're losing. That's why you got to state uncertainty in your face. Because, everything we need will be added unto us. We ain't got to have the fanciest house. We ain't got to have the fanciest car. This is just things to get us by until we get to the kingdom, man. This was an Israelite that was truly invested in America, man. And look where it's gotten them. The government shutdown cost me my contract and income. Now what? Seek the Lord, goddammit. Seek the Lord. And Jake don't know how to be content. Just seek the Lord. Don't worry about tomorrow. Let tomorrow worry about itself. Now you do somewhat prepare, but you know what I'm saying? You don't worry and stress over it. You give it all to the Lord. Play a little bit more and we're gonna wrap it on up.
So fast forward, like I was saying, I moved out here and relocated my entire family. And before coming out here, I was told by the government contracting company that they've already been on the assignment for 10 years plus. So nice. They said so, and we've already got a guarantee that this will continue. We have it for another 5 years. 5 years. That wasn't the case. I have things in writing where they said this is the salary, these are your bonuses. I have a lot of things in writing that just turned out not to be true.
Ecclesiastes 12:10. Never trust thy enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. You see? Verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. And this, talking about the so-called white man, the deceiver, the slanderer. You see what happened when you trust your enemy? He had everything in writing. Everything in writing. Scary, man. Proverbs 3 tells you what? Trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not unto thy own understanding. But see, our people don't even know the Lord. They don't even have a relationship with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And the time to be getting that relationship is now. Okay? Let's go to Psalms. Maybe think about one in Psalms. Let's see here. No, it's 58, Salakia. This is Psalms 58 and 3. It says, the wicked, who's the wicked? Malachi 1 and 4. All right. Esau, the Edomites. And through process of elimination, it fits the so-called white man, woman, and child. They are the Edomites. They're not white. They're different shades of red. Okay? Everyone has a biblical nationality. And they stem back to a man named Esau. Psalms 58 and 3, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. And that's the devil for you. He's a liar, man. Now people going to learn the hard way about trusting this man.
And I found out a lot of these things were not true because upon my arrival, there was one person here, one worker. And before getting here, that contracting firm told me that they did a reorg. So they basically got rid of all the previous contractors because they were not performing to the standard that the government needed. Because as a contractor, you're here to assist the government. But that one person said, hey, I'm so glad you're here because it's been rough. I've been doing the job of a full team by myself. And so I was like, wow, were the other contractors really that bad? And this person said, what are you talking about? They quit. And so I'm like, what? I was told that they were let go. Everybody was let go because of underperformance. She said, no. Everybody quit because how bad things are. And I would have quit also, but I have way too many bills that do not allow me to quit.
Damn, that's Baruch. That's Baruch. That's why we need Yahushua, man. This Baruch 3 and 8. It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all thy iniquities of our fathers, which have departed from the Lord our God. All right. And best believe that more than likely that was an Israelite. That woman was an Israelite. Couldn't quit because she got payments. She got bills. They won't allow her. That's the Israelites, man. We are subject to these payments. We are subject to these curses, man, until the Lord returns. Last precept. I quoted it, but I'm going to read it. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5. It says, trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thy own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. This is the time. This is the grace period. You need to cast off the things, the cares and affairs you want to do in this life and seek the Lord. Amos 5th chapter tells you, seek ye me and ye shall live. That's always been the theme. That's always been the point. Shalom.